Should be good to go.
All right, great. Welcome in, boys. I did not expect to be here tonight with this topic in particular. Maxx Crosby is a Baltimore Raven. Ken Zalis.
I thought we were talking about the World Baseball Classic, Team
Well, I'm
USA,
watching that
right? I
too.
mean,
And the
it's
Dominican and Nicaragua game has been a good game. But KZ, first thoughts.
Absolutely stunned. Like maybe the most unraven thing that they've ever done. Two first round picks, especially a pick in the top 15. I absolutely love it. I mean, my God, what we've been talking about since Suggs left.
Team USA, right? I mean,
Um, since Suggs left, we haven't had a pass rusher. I mean, Judon was great for a little while, but then they let him walk, and my God, talk about bringing in a defensive minded head coach and giving him. I mean, we could quibble about where he is behind Myles Garrett, two or three, but he's a top three pass rusher in the NFL. He's a disruptor. Double digit sacks last year in 15 games because I believe he didn't play the last two.
Right.
Um, Close to 20 tackles for loss. Five-time Pro Bowler, only 28 years old, under contract for at least 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
if because they signed him to a 3-year deal last year, right?
Right.
And I think even below the surface, it means that Lamar is getting a deal done because the only way they can afford it. Like anybody that was really worried about the Lamar deal, like this is happening. Like he's going to get a deal done. Um, this is fantastic. I mean, that how good's Green going to be?
Mm.
I mean, it just affects everything that they do um, defensively. I loved it. I couldn't love it more.
So you're absolutely right about the extension, KZ. He's actually under contract through 2029. Now, how much of that is funny money?
Yeah, who knows?
beautiful.
Who
I can't
knows?
really do the math on that right now, but he's under contract for a while. And that was my first uh my first take was that wow, this is the kind of big swing that they really have never taken since the team came to Baltimore, right? Jeff Zrebiec says that this is the first time they've ever dealt a first round pick for a veteran player. First
Wow.
time ever. Okay. And this is a move away from standard operating procedure, where usually SOP for them is, as we know, collect picks, play the quantity game of the draft, have more darts to throw, and just basically play the numbers game and play the risk averse game, right? This is a departure away from that. And Griffin, I'll ask you now, why now? Why did they decide that this was the time to move away from that standard operating procedure?
It seems like, probably has to do with the fact that they are under a new head coach, right? Like, and we were all very worried about are we giving Eric DeCosta too much leeway here? Is it gonna this is the Eric DeCosta show? Steve Bisciotti's now giving Eric DeCosta the full reins here, and that could still very well be true, but it also could mean that Bisciotti may have been, a little harsher, a little not harsher, but harder with DaCosta, saying something needs to change here. Like we need, like this isn't just, it's not just problem was not just
I
John
think that's
Harbaugh.
a terrific point that if they're making
Yeah,
stepping out and
like
making this kind of move, it's probably because Steve Bisciotti wanted them to step out of their comfort
yeah,
zone and make this kind of move. That's a great point by you, Griffin. That like when the Ravens have made like big decisions throughout franchise history, particularly in Steve Bisciotti's reign as owner, a lot of times it's Steve poking his head in saying, "This is the right thing to do. It's the right thing to draft Lamar. It's the right thing to move up for Joe." And maybe now he said it's time to find a difference-making edge rusher.
Well, I
and I'm
mean,
glad they
I
did it.
mean,
Yeah,
I mean, you can and going to that something you said that kind of hit me was, you know, more darts to throw.
Hmm.
Well, how many times can you miss the dartboard and still, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they've tried. It's not like they haven't, people get on them sometimes, and because they haven't really developed one, but it wasn't from the lack of trying. I mean, say what you want about the guys that they selected in the first three rounds, but it's not like, to give it an analogy, it's not like the Baltimore Orioles not drafting a starting pitching prospect in the first 8 rounds until this past year. So um, they took shots, and they took shots early. Um, First round guys, second round guys, third round guys, like guys that were really lauded by the draft community, and oh, they stole that guy, and it just hasn't worked out. So you have to do something different. And I think this is also, the window's not infinite, folks.
Right.
Like you were until this past year with the injuries and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes you have to win it when you have the best roster in football. And the two previous years, they didn't get it done in the playoffs, but arguably people were talking about them like they were the best team in the league for 2 years. Didn't get it done in the playoffs last year coming into it. This is the greatest roster ever assembled in the history of the NFL, blah, 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 blah. And injuries derailed it real quick. And whenever your superstar quarterback gets hurt, that's going to make it go south. But this is not an infinite window. And I think this is part of it. It's like, Lamar got hurt this year. He's gonna be 30, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Oh, well, I
I
think
mean,
30
yeah,
next January, right?
next January.
yeah. So
Okay.
this is age
But
29 season. Yeah.
okay, but it's like, but even at age 29, it's like I sometimes feel like Ravens Nation feels like Lamar is still like on his rookie contract and stuff like that. It's like he just got here still, but he's been in the league for 7 years. Like he's been here a while, and he's played at a really high level. And they got to do something, and they can't lose games when they score 40 points.
No,
Like,
they
you can't
absolutely
lose
cannot.
games when they score 40 points, and that's what was happening. And I mean, my God, I just. If if any media member trashes this move, I don't know what you're doing. You know, the 27th, people will say, "Oh, the 27th is supposed to be the greatest draft in the history of the NFL," which it may wind up being based on who we think is going to come out. If you're a good team, that pick is in 28 to 32. Who cares? Who
Right,
cares?
right. I mean that's the point, right? And that's why you ship like obviously next year's pick is you're
Yeah,
hoping that
yeah,
that's pick 32 and
right.
and yeah, and then
Well,
to your
but
point,
even
yeah,
if it
28 or 30 if not.
Yeah, like 28, 30, 32, whatever it is. You're expecting it to be late. And, you know, uh you don't expect to have the 14th pick in the draft ever for a while. These come rarely for the Ravens.
So
Yeah.
Jake W on Facebook chimes in. He says it was time for the Ravens to put the chips on the table. You have one of the best athletes ever at QB, and he says it was time to push some chips in now. And that's sort of what you guys were hinting at as well. That Lamar's not going to be this super high level quarterback forever. I mean, he might. I mean,
I
if
know,
he
hopefully it
is
is. Yeah, I mean,
until he's 45 years old, like Tom Brady, that would be great. But the chances are that's not going to be the case. And at some point, you probably do have to strike while the iron's hot. And I mean, and this is one of the areas where you definitely needed some upgrades because we always talk about in baseball, a team has a ninth inning problem, right? It has a closer problem. Well, the Ravens have had a closer problem for a while, right? They
Wow.
haven't had that guy late in the fourth quarter to get the defense off the field in key spots. They just haven't.
Nope.
Um,
yeah.
I mean, they've had some guys flash that. Judon flashed that.
Right.
Owe had some moments at times. But really,
One,
since
yeah.
Suggs, yeah, one.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah, one.
Um,
But since Suggs, they haven't had that guy when it's 3rd and 5, and they're passing, and you got to get off the field that puts pressure on the quarterback. How many times do we watch, and even worse than 3rd and 5, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 14, 3rd and 18? Like all you got to do is get to the
And
quarterback, and you got nobody.
right,
and
right.
And
especially
now
And
you,
hopefully
and
that
that's so important in the fourth quarter because your DBs at that point are exhausted and they can't put their hands on the receivers anyway.
right? You can't do that, but you also like it does so much. I mean, you look at. I think about Kyle Hamilton doesn't have to blitz now. They can get home with 4. Like
yeah.
like you have a guy that can get home without bringing extra people.
And to the point you guys were saying earlier, like and it doesn't have to necessarily be Maxx Crosby now either. It's because we've been searching for who's the guy that's going to break Big Ben's nose when you need him to. Like who's going to get back there?
Hmm.
Because now it can be Travis Jones and it can be Mike Green. We speak so highly of Nick Herbig and Alex Highsmith, and they're good football players. But we speak so highly of them. It's because they're
Right,
rushing alongside T.J. Watt, and
right. Again, he's being double and
he
triple
makes
teamed.
everybody else look
Right,
scary. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
So
I mean, my God.
now I'm also curious about this move from the Raiders end. So they're going to take Mendoza at 1, and now
Mm-hmm.
they have 2 extra firsts to help surround him with talent in the next couple of years. I think there's probably a pretty good chance that they overpay for offensive line help in free agency. And I
They're going to
think
get
there's
Linderbaum and who
probably a
else?
pretty good chance that 14 is an offensive lineman as well. That wouldn't surprise me. Who was the Penn
If
State
yeah,
guy?
if there's
Yeah, yeah.
Vega Owani.
So that wouldn't surprise me at all. I think this is a move that makes sense for Vegas, KZ.
I absolutely makes sense because you're going to suck next year. I mean, here's the unless Mendoza is the second coming of the greatest quarterback in the world, which doesn't happen as for rookie quarterbacks very often with a team that's not ready to win. They couldn't protect anybody. They have to upgrade the offensive line um, through free agency, through the draft. I mean, this is a terrific move. Get younger, get get your rookie quarterback protected. You have for the Raiders, you have the running back to
Mhm.
take some pressure off. You have some talent at receiver. Um, but you need your better side of the ball was defensive side of the ball. I mean, quite honestly. So, and he wasn't happy. I mean, yeah, he was disgruntled. He was really pissed off about the last 2 weeks he wanted to
Mhm.
play, and
Yeah,
from the Raiders standpoint, they did the right thing for their organization by not letting him play. And what if he gets a bad injury, then they can't trade him if they wanted to trade him, things like that. So
he is.
I
I mean, he had meniscus surgery like the day after the season ended. So
yeah, but he
there's
wanted to
that. But
play
yes,
through it,
that's
and he was upset that he couldn't. And from the Raiders' standpoint, it's 100%. There's nothing to play for. Why am I risking a superstar? Whether I want to trade him or whether I want him to be on my team next year. So for the Raiders, it makes perfect sense. I like it for the Raiders. But to your point, 14 is probably, 14 is on the offensive side of the ball. Whether it's a lineman, whether it's another receiver, whether it's, the kid out of Oregon, the tight end. I don't know, but when you're going to take a quarterback at 1, you better surround him with some talent and not let him get his block knocked off early. So I love this for the Raiders. Makes perfect sense.
so.
So
Who were the who like so? I mean, obviously, so I guess the Ravens had the best offer. Like, who were the other teams in like that were offering 2 firsts, and they decided like the Eagles, I guess, like and that's just who the Ravens were bidding against.
Well, I
They
mean,
just had the better offer.
you don't.
You want 14, yeah, you want
I
14
mean, you're
over.
talking. I mean, you were talking. I mean, not necessarily, but if you believe the media,
Dallas, yeah.
it was the Eagles, the Bears, and the Ravens were the highest. Were the 3 that were most connected
Hmm.
um, to
Then
this
yeah,
trade.
So
But
this has to mean the Ravens didn't love any edge rusher that they at least that they saw, like they must know Bain is going and Reese
well,
and all these
Bane's
other
Or
not.
pieces.
I
Bane's.
also think,
But even if they loved Bane, even if they loved Bane, okay, you are going to have to probably trade. But even if he gets there at 14, what are we even considering? Like I don't. You're talking Bane versus Crosby. I mean, I want
Yeah.
Crosby. The 27. See, here's the thing: the 27 pick, 20, the 2027 pick, it is fictitious. You don't know where it is. You don't know who's coming out. You you don't know that you can't do something else to get that back. You have all kinds of things that you could do to get that back if you wanted to somewhere along the way. Um, so it's just it's monopoly money essentially. It's all it is. So that's a no brainer. So you're talking about you're talking to me. This trade is you gave up the number 14 pick for Crosby, and there's nobody in the draft that's even remotely close to him that's going to impact your defense. So it's such a no brainer.
so what's next for the Ravens now?
No,
I guess we're
you
still
better
go back to
fix
the
the
quarterback.
offensive
Yeah.
line. You better fix the
Well,
offensive line.
how do you do that if Lamar is still on? I mean, there was a
Well,
lot
I
of
mean,
who knows
there's
what
no
was
way
going
there's
on
no way you
today.
can afford this contract with their cap space as it is now. I mean, Lamar's deal has to be done.
Well, and if worse comes worse, they can just tack void years on. They don't want to do
Well,
that,
I know
but
they
they
don't
can.
want to do that, but they can. But I mean, look,
Lamar is
if
not
Lin,
going to play on this number,
if
and
Linda,
it's
right,
one way
no,
or another, it's going to come down, and they would prefer to do it via an extension, so they
right.
don't have to take care of this next year. They would
Right, they
prefer
don't
to
have
do
to
it
do it
now,
again.
but it's going
It's
to his cap number is coming down regardless.
look, the offensive line is the next thing. It just is like
Right, but you can't
you,
address that until this Lamar thing gets figured out because we want, and then I guess that's what we all were hoping this
right.
tweet
Well,
earlier today
that's
meant was that Lamar was gonna, ink a new deal and agree to an extension. I guess it was this. I guess that's apparently what it was.
so you're right,
Which is
Griff.
good that he's happy.
Yeah. Well, he's happy. I mean, he's not going anywhere, but you're right. I mean, the next domino has to be the Lamar. What they're going to do to lower Lamar's number, however they're going to do it, and then they have to address the offensive line. Like you have three spots to fill.
Yeah,
You have three spots to fill. You're
you
not
think
paying Linderbaum $40 million. If he's going to get $40 million, I'm going to pat him on the back, say, "God bless you, son.
you
Thank
mean
He
you."
might.
40 million
He's
guaranteed?
the only center left in the NFL. He might be. Yeah, he might be.
Right, right. I mean, that's what the report was
Might get
today.
it.
So I'm guessing that he's going to get north of like 4 years, 80 million with 40 guaranteed. I'm guessing he's going to get north of that.
I
What do you think?
mean, he's going
Yeah,
to be the
yeah.
highest paid center in the history of the league.
Right.
The tag would have
Would
been
you do
25.
that?
Right? Yeah.
Would
Yes,
I
I would.
do? Would I do what?
Assuming Lamar, yeah, I
The,
would.
the
Assuming
contract
Lamar.
I just mentioned, a little north
No,
of 4 years, 80 million with half of that guaranteed. Would you do that?
no, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Who was blocking
Hey,
KZ? Who are you
what?
playing? Are you playing center?
Well, I mean, so for $40 million, sure. But here's the thing. I don't know. I don't know that he's worth it. I'm having a tough time that he's worth it. Like if you look around the NFL right now, like really good centers. Bradbury just got traded.
hmm
What's
Who
what's
who
Connor
was who?
McGovern going to get? What's Connor
Who's
McGovern going
who's
to
who's
get?
the other guy that just moved today? The guy out of Wisconsin.
No, it was no. Well, yeah, Bradbury was moved today, right? Or was it yesterday?
Bradbury's moved, but there was another one that was rumored, or is like the tampering period, like he's signing. I thought it was
Yeah.
like I
The
can't
Bills or McGovern's not
bat
going back to the
what
Bill. McGovern
yeah
is not returning to the Bills.
right, but I just think that there are guys that you can get that are serviceable. I just don't know. You can't afford to pay him that kind of money when you still need two guards.
Right.
You can't like. There's two guards, and I just I can't see that on my phone.
It's
So,
according to Spotrac has them ranked, and these values are estimated. And I would assume Linderbaum. I agree with Luke. I think Linderbaum gets at least 20, but he's the top guy on the market, obviously. And then you have McGovern, Cade Mays, who was with Carolina,
right.
Ethan
I mean,
Pocic.
yeah.
So you would go with Lloyd Cushenberry, like let's say, is that the um like try to save and go with a guy like that?
I, yeah, I guess. I just want a solid veteran guy. I mean, I would don't get me wrong, I would love
I'd rather
Linderbaum back, but I'm not at that rate. I
I'd
just
rather find this veteran guy like a Kevin Zeitler type and put him in a guard somewhere. If that find a
well,
veteran guard
yeah,
like
yeah.
a John Simpson.
John Simpson, we're going there again.
I mean, he's better than what we had last year.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I think a lot of this comes down to, they love Emory Jones, and like is I you know I don't know.
I'm fine
I don't know.
as long as they get a known. I mean, this is the Ruben Bain versus Maxx Crosby, right? I want Tyler Linderbaum over, you know, who over insert random name like that's
Sure, but like he's not. He didn't want the record-setting contract that was offered, right? I mean, if we believe all that, you know, record-setting contract for a center was
okay.
offered to him.
Well, and maybe he's said I want to test the open market so I
Sure,
can
but if
drive
he's going
up
to
that
test it,
price that
like
he thinks he's
how
going to get more. He's going to get even higher than.
that's fine.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
God,
I see.
God
I
bless,
never point. I
God
mean,
bless. I
but
I
if
just it's a center. I mean, I know it's important, and
what
I don't mean
centers
to,
are better than Tyler Linderbaum? I mean, like it's.
but well, which Linderbaum am I getting? Am I getting the one who couldn't pass block last year?
He
That was
just said.
Linderbaum playing between next to
I thought he was.
Falele and Voorhees. That's
Well,
probably why he couldn't pass block.
well, yeah. I mean, yeah, but why can't he pass block? He's not covering for those guys. Well, and guys aren't coming at him. They're going at foul.
No, they're going around Falele, and then they run
Right,
into
I know.
Linderbaum.
That's what I
So now
mean. It's like
Linderbaum's dealing with two guys.
I don't.
I think
I just thought I don't like the contract for a center. I just think you have a lot more holes, and the Crosby solves a lot of things, but
yes.
you still need a D tag. I'll be honest. I rather give more money to likely and get him back.
We can put likely a guard, but what's that going to help?
I need a tight end that can run. And
I don't know how
have
you're
one.
shaping out this offensive line
I don't have one on my team right now.
Then they better give not 20 million, but they better give a bulk of that to an established guard. Then, like there's no clear cut answer on the offensive line. Like there's no way
No,
to
there's
kind
not.
of be sure about anything, and you at least know that. I mean, I guess I'll give you that. If he's getting 24, 25 on the open market,
right.
Okay.
I'm not interested I'm not interested at 24, 25 in the open market.
But I don't think that's what he's gonna. I don't think that's what the number is. I think it's much closer to 20, if not exactly 20.
Well, then why wouldn't you just franchise him?
Because the franchise tag, the tag is worth 25 for 1 year.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
That and
I mean,
so that's why. That's why they don't want to. They don't want to have 25. They want to have that 5 million, freed up for somewhere else, or hopefully get into extension. You can move the money around however you want, based on what Lamar does, based on whatever other plans they have for the offseason.
Yeah.
I mean,
do we agree that the Lamar thing has to be the next chip to fall, right?
Yes, Lamar has to be next.
It's gotta happen fairly soon, no matter what ends up happening.
I'm hoping 5 minutes later, it's Linderbaum that agrees to a 4-year extension.
I think it's not for me. It's not about the player. It's about the price. And I mean, are the Chicago Bears going to open the Brinks truck now since their guy retired for them? I don't know.
I think they're.
Well, they took back. So the Patriots would open, I guess. They would
because the Patriots traded their center to Chicago.
It'd be either Oakland.
Yeah, right.
I keep saying Oakland. It'd be Vegas or New England. I think that would get Linderbaum if if he doesn't return. because they have the most. I mean, they have the most money and they have the most,
I wish I could
evident
remember
need.
the other center that signed somewhere.
All right, I'll pull you.
What about Jordan Stout,
the
Casey?
NFL.
You want him back?
No.
He's number 3, right? Lamar,
I mean,
Linderbaum, Stout.
Look, he was good this year. He was.
That's what he's a Pro Bowler, right? Was he an All Pro? Or was he just a Pro Bowler?
I don't know what either one of those mean anymore. So the Pro Bowl doesn't mean anything to me anymore because it's not a Pro Bowl anymore.
What's the going rate for a punter? Like 4 years, 16 for a good one?
Jesus, that can't be. That's got to be too much, right?
I tell you what, the kicker punter franchise number was $6 million.
Exactly.
Really?
Well,
yes.
Well, but there are some but that
is influenced by some kickers. Yes.
Yeah, but that's
should the Ravens sign Brandon Aubrey?
People are wondering.
Yeah.
Well,
should that be number 3 on the list of the offseason? Kicker.
I'm not against that, but
you'd give Brandon Aubrey a record-breaking deal, no questions asked. Kyle Linderbaum.
I'm not against because oh my God, he's. I mean, that's where I'm putting some money. I'll tell you that. So here's the thing: you're going all
guaranteed
in.
3 points. Yeah.
You're going all in. Well, let's go all in and get a real kicker. And it's nothing against Luke.
No, it is against Luke. I think he's not very good.
No, it's not. I don't know if he's any good. I really don't. I mean, look,
Casey, he couldn't make a 50-yard field goal.
I'm with you. I'm with you. But apparently he has a huge leg that came from 70 yards.
Yeah, he came up 5 yards short on a 55-yarder. Got a huge leg.
It was windy.
Was he not? I mean, whatever.
Again, there are lots of things that they could do to help this team. Aubrey would be one. I mean, Sanders just got released, right?
Jason Sanders? Is that
Did he just get released?
I'd rather pull Matt Prater out of wherever he's hanging out right now and give him $950K.
Yeah, but that doesn't solve the distance.
Yeah, but at least I know that he's going to make a 42-yarder to send
I'm with you. I agree with that. I agree with that. We'll see. That's going to be one of the interesting things that's going to happen for the Ravens this offseason after all the big things that we're talking about happen. Is what are they doing at kicker at either spot? Because
well,
Stout,
I would hope. I
mean,
hope
Stout was good, but is that just the maturity and he figured it out and he's really that guy now? But I don't know. Has he priced himself out? If he is a quote unquote Pro Bowler, and I have no idea if he was. Has he priced himself out of the kicker market?
Is that where we want to leave it, boys?
I guess so. He was a first-team All-Pro and a Pro Bowler in 2025. Jordan Stout. Jordan Stout, first-team All-Pro.
Well, you better sign him then.
Ravens were punting a lot more this year. Maybe that's why.
Well, that's true. Well, see, you don't need a punter next year because.
You're hoping you never punt? Yeah.
You never punt.
Well, how are they going to never punt if they don't have a center?
Just go for it. Just go for it every time. We got young coaches. Young coaches like to go for it every time. It's the trend in the NFL. Can I ask before we go? And I just wanted to get this in. There were some reports out of New York that the head coach is like interfering and not allowing, the organization to move forward.
The head coach in New York. You're talking about John Harbaugh?
Is that who it is? I guess so. Here's where my mind went. So I don't know. Are you guys familiar with the reports that came out of New York?
No.
So there was a beat writer, I forget who it was, that says that that Harbaugh has so much influence that the GM is not allowed to make any moves without getting them approved by John Harbaugh.
Right.
John Harbaugh leaves. We do something that's very un-Raven-like. Do we think that Harbaugh was a blockade here?
For a trade like this?
for Eric DeCosta doing things that he wanted to do? I'm just asking. I'm not. And again, we know my feelings on Harbaugh, but I'm actually not trying to throw shade at him here. There was a report this week that nothing can happen in the New York Giant organization, even though they have a GM and head of football operations, without John Harbaugh's approval.
Yeah.
Do we think that one of the things that may have led to his dismissal here is
DeCosta retaining, right?
Right, like DeCosta saying, "Look, there are things that we've wanted to do that
maybe he said we could have had Micah Parsons, but maybe that's something he told."
Well, I don't know.
We could have had Micah Parsons.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe there are things that. Do we think that at any point that there were things that the Ravens wanted to do from the GM standpoint that were blocked by the head football coach?
I never thought about that, but I mean,
it seems like a little bit of. I'm not going to say that that's impossible, but I think John's role in New York is basically like judge, jury, and executioner of all things football. And I don't know if that was ever John's role here.
But he never reported, like he never reported to the cost.
Right.
I don't know. That's just weird to me.
I sort of circle back to how we started this, that I think probably Steve wanted to do something big outside of the norm. And so he probably gave DeCosta his blessing to make a move like this. I don't know. That's my assumption, is that like a move of this magnitude doesn't happen unless the owner says go for it. And this is the kind of go for it move that they just haven't done throughout. I mean, they typically play the numbers game and the risk averse game. They typically don't do this kind of a thing because, for the simple fact that football players get hurt. Micah Parsons got hurt last year.
Right.
Like, I'm sure he'll bounce back and be fine. But those are the kind of things that happen to football players. And generally speaking, you don't want to give up a lot of assets for one that isn't a quarterback. Partially because the volatility is so high.
And to your point, Luke, I mean, this is not only is it a move that the Ravens don't make, this is a move that rarely ever happens in history. Like, this is the list of players to be traded for 2 first-round picks, according to Adam Schefter. And it's, 15 guys here, like less than 20. So it does not happen often.
Yeah, leave that list up here for a
minute. Not a bad list. I'm just saying, it's not a bad list.
It's, what it is? It's a lot of defensive players that the receiving team thought were going to make a huge difference to their defense.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And obviously, Sauce Gardner, I guess, a lot of time. He's young. A lot of time for that to work out. But yeah, and then you have 2 quarterbacks.
3.
Couple
running backs. Well, 2 recent quarterbacks, but yeah.
Yeah. The Jamal Adams one was weird the moment it happened. I mean, he was a box safety.
Yeah.
And that was just a strange player to give up 2 first round picks for.
And the Herschel Walker deal was the greatest deal in history.
Right. But it wasn't Herschel actually given up technically for players that turned into picks? Like, he was given up for a bunch of players
they traded his whole draft for him.
Correct, but originally it was like a bushel of players, and there was the conditions attached to the players where if the players were cut by a certain point, I guess, then that player turned into a pick. And then as soon as the trade happened, Jimmy told Minnesota, I'm going to cut all these players, and I'm going to get picks for all these guys.
So he just got comps. So he got compensatory picks back.
And I think that was the story behind it. And Jimmy was like the first like modern drafter, I would say, like modern day drafter, where he took the quantity approach, and he moved around the draft board with all those extra picks to get the players he really wanted. And that Jimmy Johnson trade chart's a little long in the tooth, but it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty amazing from that period that, how ahead of the game he was.
It's long in the tooth, but it's still a guide that people use. It's not the law,
which is amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's totally amazing. But it's not the law anymore. But you still look at it to this day. I know I did up through last year to get a kind of a sense of, what it is. If it was really fair or not, or you overpaid to an extent. And I've always been a believer there's no such thing as overpaying, because you may be worth more to me than to someone else than you are to me. So you're a trade is a trade because you got what somebody's willing to pay you. So that's what the value is. So
nine draft picks across 3 drafts was the return for Dallas.
Most insane thing. Most insane thing ever. And he was terrible. He was terrible. Oh my God. At that point. He was
right.
Yeah. So, but it's gonna be fun. I mean, good friend, Press Box's own Phil Backard, Pete Alonso, Maxx Crosby. Been quite an off season.
Yeah. Those are 2 pretty fun personalities to add to both teams in town. Here's from Brian McFarland from Russell Street Report, the salary cap guru. So he projects that it must mean that a Lamar extension is coming, because the Ravens project to only have 9 to 11 million in cap space. So to get the necessary 30 to pay Maxx Crosby, it's going to have to come from Lamar, at least his share of the salary cap.
And and Brian's the best, and he understands that. But it's not brain surgery to understand it. I mean, one thing you can't. Something's happening, whether it's an extension or whether it's voiding years or whatever. To get
sure, okay, yeah, sure. He said just extension. Yes, I guess there's multiple avenues.
I mean, as well as what I'm not. I mean, again, if there's a cap question to be answered, Brian McFarland is answering it in Baltimore. It's right. I'm just saying that as soon as this deal is made, like after I stopped being in disbelief, I was like, well, it means that Lamar's next. Like something's happening with this month. The only way they can afford it. So kind of cool. But this is this can't be like official until Wednesday, right?
311 it said it's official. Is that Wednesday that's Wednesday? Okay, so it'll Wednesday the 11th.
So that means maybe by Monday, at least by Tuesday, we get another piece of news.
I would hope so, and maybe right after that, I'm hoping then the Ravens have a center that is signed.
Yeah, could be a domino effect. Could be a fun week.
Yes,
we may be doing this sooner than later again. Maybe Glenn will join us.
What the hell is Glenn? What is this?
I know. What the hell? Luke, get on top of that.
Yeah, Luke. I guess that's. I don't know. Was there anything else, Luke?
I don't know. Glenn big time does. That's all.
I know.
He did.
Where's Steck is he? Like it's like 6 o'clock.
Oh, you know what? I forgot to text him.
Oh, good job. Steck is probably watching this. Is like, they want me. They want me. Andrew, if you're watching this, I wanted you here. It's all about Griff. He said no.
I just wanted Griffin and KZ. I didn't really need Glenn. Just FYI. Who's Griffin on the phone with? What's he doing?
I'm trying to call Stecca. I was calling.
Is he trying to get Max on the phone already? That would be kind of cool.
That's what Glenn would have him do.
Yes. If I was a good producer, that's I guess what I would be doing.
Yeah, you would have done it like 10 minutes ago.
Stecca must be busy.
Yeah, he's probably golfing.
Well, it should be at least dark over there by now.
6 o'clock? Yeah, I guess so.
7? No, it's like 7, right? 7, or it'll be 7 after tomorrow.
Right.
Daylight savings tomorrow. Yeah, so then Arizona will be 3 hours back on Sunday.
Luke's like, would you 2 idiots shut up?
Yeah, Luke's ready to go. He needs to get back to drinking his beer and watching baseball in March.
He scored a game.
Dominicans are up big now.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, I saw O'Neal Cruz hit.
They were down.
We had a Cruz missile.
Yeah. Dominican lineup is very deep, and it's hard to get through for undermanned snaps.
Should we be mad that Gunner's not that that who's even
That he
oh,
was sitting behind two inferior infielders? No,
yeah, no.
no reason to be mad about that.
So should we hate DeRosa now?
Two inferior?
Two inferior infielders are playing over him.
Who?
Bregman and Terang.
Okay.
And Witt. Witt's pretty good.
But no,
Witt's the best infielder in baseball.
Stop. That's why. So you want him to play third base or second base?
Third.
It's a super team. You put him at second base. Like, I mean, yeah, you should move Bregman because
I think Bregman's probably a more fluid second baseman.
I would think so too. He just doesn't strike me as.
I'm okay. I'm okay with it. I'm okay.
Okay.
KZ says, you know where he's not getting hurt? On the bench.
That's right.
In all
He's not
likelihood.
getting hurt on the bench, and he's not changing his arm angle on the bench or third.
Yes, that's true.
I'm okay.
Steck is calling me. Hey, you want to hop on the Zoom with us? We're about to wrap up, but we're reacting to Maxx Crosby.
Oh, sure. I was just on with Glenn.
Oh, you were on WBA? All right.
Excuse us.
Okay, well, never mind. We don't want you. We don't want you to join us.
Excuse us.
He said famously from Project Game, like he was talking about Project Game Day when he was talking about games. Are you guys still on?
Yeah, we're still on, but we're about to. All right, I'll send you a link.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll hop on for a minute if you want.
All right, hold on. All right. Well, then we got to vamp for 30 seconds.
Crazy. What do you think about the Orioles this year?
They can't afford. I'm worried about two things. One is center field. Okay, because I'm about done with my move is about to change the first letter very quickly because I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the bat I thought I saw. I think there's 6 guys that can play center field better than he can on the roster right now. And I'm scared to death of some things.
Of who?
I'm scared that Mayo's bat is going to give him, if he continues to hit, it's going to force the Orioles to start him at third base. And I don't think he can play.
Yeah, so my biggest concern with the team really focuses on the defense. I don't think they're a very good defensive club at this point. I don't think Mayo can play third base in games that matter.
No,
I
agree with you.
So that means that you have Blaze Alexander at third with Jeremiah Jackson at second. And hopefully Jackson Holiday isn't out long so that you could just play Jackson Holiday at second and Blaze Alexander at third and just go with that. Or you're thinking about Estrada or Ramos on the opening day 26.
I don't want to ever hear either one of their names ever.
So, all right, Steck is.
I just said, oh,
gentlemen,
Mr. Superstar.
There you go. The only guy with an actual microphone setup.
The only guy that actually got a text to come on a.
Well, I got one from someone else who's normally on a program like this, so I was with him when I got the call from Griffin. So I decided, hey, let's just continue talking about this.
That's what I'm saying. We're you're coming on. He's like, well, I'm on another show. It's like he didn't say it. It's like, hey, KZ, hey Griff, hey Luke, why don't you come on for a minute?
I had been going back and forth because Glenn texted me earlier in the evening because it happens to be my birthday. So he
happy birthday,
happy birthday!
Thank you, gentlemen.
I'm not wishing you again because
you did.
I did.
You did text me, Glenn. You did text me, Casey.
It wasn't a Facebook post. It was a personalized text.
It very much was. As I told Glenn, what a gift the Ravens have given me. My goodness. This feels amazing. I told him I was super pumped about this. And, I get that it's an expensive price to pay, but it's a box check. Well, correct. Because of the quality player you're getting 100%.
You're not getting anybody like that at 14.
You're getting a no doubter.
Right.
There's no other way to put it. This guy is a no doubter, and he changes the way you're able to play defense as well. You don't just have Kyle Hamilton, as your big playmaker now. Like you've got another absolute stud playmaker on this defense, and I'm really excited to see Jesse Minter with this group and seeing how he can, what he can cook up. I'm pumped about that. At the same time, the price that you paid for it, it does kind of make me wonder what's next, because there's still a lot of holes on this roster. Especially my mind immediately just goes to offensive line, like offensive guard specifically. Like, how are you improving in the areas where you need to improve the rest of this roster when you no longer have a first round pick, which is a pretty high pick this year because of the season you just had? And, you also need to get the quarterback deal done. Now, I presume that that's soon, but until it happens,
we talked earlier, like the only way they can afford Maxx Crosby is Lamar has to, in some way, be extended, voided,
right.
Something like more money has to come from Lamar's contract that they can spend. So you would think that the only way they can really have gone and done this deal is for wink, nod, we're really close. We're going to get something done with Lamar before Wednesday. So I almost think like that's a no-brainer and like a given at this point, because
I tend to believe that too. I tend to agree, but at the same time, I want it to be announced.
Of course. Well, maybe it'd be like the 12 days of Christmas. Every day they're going to announce something.
Well, and I think the other big part of and I don't know if you guys had this conversation already, so stop me if you did, but the other big part of this for me is just what a kind of monumental shift in thinking this is for this franchise. Just because, like, oh, they just fired the head coach and then did this. Like, these are not things that the Ravens historically do. And saying picks be damned, like, okay, but that also puts a lot of pressure on the next, let's say, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, maybe. Like, there's a lot of pressure on this team to get back to that pinnacle.
It does. But so 2 things while you're talking came to mind. Well, this is a reflection of the last 3 years when you were the best team in football and when you were supposed to be the best team in football and not getting it done for various reasons of each of the last 3 seasons. So, and at some point, Lamar isn't going to be Superman. Like, he's playing at 29, 30, and 31. And I get that he's an incredible talent, and I get that he has improved as a passer every single year. But some of the things that makes Lamar one of one starts to deteriorate a little bit as you get older. Not
that's especially
overnight.
That's especially the case when your offensive line is what it is right now.
I agree with that. The other thing I thought of, and we didn't say this, I mean, there's nothing against the Ravens restructuring Crosby's contract and extending him. I mean, he's only guaranteed for 2 more years. They could spread out that $30 million hit a little bit if they extended him another 2 years, which would put him through 32, because I think he's 28 now, so he's through 30 with his current contract. They have some things they can do, is all I'm saying. If it's not tomorrow or the next day that Lamar's deal gets in it.
But even just more from because I look at this like big picture too, like the franchise altering nature of these moves are like, I describe it as a kind of feeling like I'm on a roller coaster all of a sudden, and I don't know which way it's going to turn next. And also, I kind of like it. I'm kind of on board because we've been doing the same thing for so many years.
And that's the point. We said that, and that's a great point.
You got to change it up sometimes.
Yep.
And look, that came at the expense of the head coach, obviously, and it's now come at the expense of a first round pick, which is, I'm not comparing those 2 things, but I'm just saying from the standpoint of where this franchise has been and where it is going, these are 2 big offseason moves. And I think that there's obviously got to be more on the table now, because like I said, there's still a lot of gaps and holes. I think we're all going to think back to the last couple of seasons failures and think the defense was a really, really big part of it. And sure, the defense has not really been up to snuff. And now we think that bringing Jesse Minter in and obviously Maxx Crosby and just this defense feels like revamped and ready to rip through some teams, which I'm pumped about. That you're always going to be pumped about that as a Ravens fan, but you also know that the other part of it has to tick, and defense can only take you so far these days. Like I get that the Seahawks had one of the better defenses in the NFL. That's not always going to be the case. Defenses still have to be able to make plays, not just be consistently good. And Maxx Crosby is a guy that can allow you way more opportunities to make plays, make game-changing plays. And now we've got to see it from the offensive side of the ball too, because they need more improvement as well to get up to that level. And a big part of that is the quarterback.
It is, but how many times did we go on the post-game show and complain about the pass rush and complain about 3rd and 10 and, you know, you needed to get home, you needed to put pressure, and they couldn't do it with 4, they couldn't do it with 5, they couldn't do it with 6. And Crosby solves that. Like he's a double-digit sack guy, he's a 20-plus disruptor, tackle for loss guy. I just he's going to make everybody better on that defense. And you don't have to use Kyle Hamilton to blitz every third time down, you know, when you need that play because he's your only playmaker. So I having a better defense takes some of the pressure off of that offense. But I get you. I mean, there's more. We know how much work needs to be done, but man, what a great first step.
And we talked, I think, right around the trade deadline about like the positions of need that we would want to see improved. And I was continually saying this team needs to have a pass rush because you're going to get burned at the back if you don't have a pass rush. Like it does not work if you can't get to the quarterback in this day and age in this league. And all of a sudden now they can, which is a delight.
My friend texted me. He said, so now, like, are you worried at corner? Like, what do the Ravens need to add? Like, what are you going to do at cornerback? He's like, well, I don't think you're too worried about that. I think Nate Wiggins is very good. And Marlon Humphrey is, I still think he's got good football left in him. And, you know, maybe they can find another Chidobe Awuzie, right? And I think you feel pretty good about where they are at each level, you know.
But this is the exact point we were talking about earlier. Like the Ravens have historically been good at finding guys to play cornerback from time to time and getting something out of them. They haven't been able to do that at defensive pass rush. Like they have not been able to do it there. For years and years, the Ravens could not buy a wide receiver. They had the veterans come through, Derek Masons, the Anquan Boldens. Like that was working. That's what they did. They've been a little bit better at the receiver end recently, but that's historically that's been what this team is. So I totally agree with you. Like they'll figure it out at these other spots, but there are certain parts of this roster that really do need like a microscope put on them. And the only thing that worries me about the picks is, okay, that limits you some in what you're able to do there.
Mm-hmm. And then that was the next question. Go ahead, Casey.
No, it does. I mean, we talked about earlier, and I just made the point, like, to me, you traded a number 14 for Maxx Crosby. I mean, the 2027 is it's flexibility, but it's also monopoly money, because if you're sort of going all in and trying to fix something, this is a late first round pick, the 2027 pick. If in theory,
you would think, you would hope.
You would think, right. I mean, the hope is like this move gets you closer to what you were the previous 2 years than last year. And so you're picking in the late 20s, or, should we dream and pick at 32? But you know what I mean? But so to me, it's like you still have opportunity to get another first round pick if at another point. What it does stop you from, you don't have the flexibility in this year's draft to maybe still trade that and come back into the first round, like they did for Lamar and like they've done in other years to have that other pick. But you also still have the 14th pick in every other round, which is, that second round pick is going to be a pretty good player. You can get a solid guard there if that's the direction you want to go. Good cornerback draft if you want to go in that direction. So I guess for me, I'm not so much worried about the 27th pick.
I understand that. I think I mean, well, I guess we'll see. Well, I guess we'll see what happens, obviously, over the next over the next 12 months. But yeah, I think it's fair to say, as we said earlier, this is the all-in move. So there's a couple other things we need to see done to make sure they can fully take advantage of this, especially in 2026. But yeah, I think to your point, KZ, it's two firsts. And that clearly that's the end of the list. Like that's what it is. Two firsts, and now you get Maxx Crosby
I have one question before we get out of here. Andrew, I posed this to KZ and to Griffin, and they were split on it. Assuming that the Lamar situation is resolving itself in one way or another in the coming days, would you do something a little bit north of 4 years, 80 million with half of that guaranteed for Tyler Linderbaum, or would you let him walk and try to solve the interior of the offensive line in some other way?
Ooh, oh gosh, I'm really interested to know how these two were split because I know KZ has draft knowledge, and that's immediately where my mind goes because I'm sitting here thinking, how are they going to improve the interior of this offensive line? It feels like they don't have an interior of an offensive line right now, especially if Linderbaum is gone. So that is really, really tasty. I guess if the money can be manipulated in the right way, like it kind of always seems to be able to be in the NFL, I would love to have Tyler Linderbaum back because he is, I think, a really important piece of this offensive line. But because I also tend to think you're going to have to go through the draft to help out at guard, and that can solve the puzzle. From a money standpoint, I'm not going to be the guy to know where that really puts them to be able to do anything else. Probably in pretty dire straits would be my guess. So I'm guessing KZ said you got to go through the draft for these things because it's a very, very deep draft. I've heard. Again, he's the draft guy.
KZ was against it, but not for the reason you think. He's just not in love with Linderbaum at that price. And then Griffin, his response was very simple. Then who's playing center?
Well, and I
think that's very fair.
That's kind of where I am because not only who's playing center, but also, as I said, who's playing on either sides of the center.
Right. Yes.
Like there's no guarantees there at all. This offensive line is a capital P problem, if you ask me. And I thought it was before last season. And guess what? I get them right every now and again. Like that was my big concern going into last season. And I feel like that was, other than the pass rush, was probably the biggest concern on the roster.
And then my other question to them, and I don't even know if they cared enough to respond, was whether you would give Jordan Stout the going rate for a good punter, which is, I'm guessing, like 4 years, 16 mil.
Glenn got on me a lot last season for not being the biggest Jordan Stout guy, and like I know he was a Pro Bowler this year and everything, but like he did a good job. Okay, all pro. I didn't even know they did that for punters.
Of course they do.
Fair enough. Jordan Stout had a great season last season. I concede that point. He doesn't do anything that wows me, but then again, when this team finds special teams players that they really like, they tend to hang on to them. So I'm assuming they're going to try and hang on to them at whatever price they feel is fair. But they probably still should be focusing a little bit more on the kicker than the punter, in my opinion, because I think that's still a big problem. They're going to have to figure out what they're doing at kicker going into this season too.
KZ, where are you on Loop?
I'm not. Andrew said it perfectly. He said it better than I did. He's a solid kicker, but he there's nothing special about him.
Like the thing that really bothered me last year with him, it wasn't even the missed kick at the end. It was the kickoffs. It was the kickoffs all year, and even in that Pittsburgh game, the kickoffs were a problem. And like it was all year, and I understand it was new to him, but it never got corrected. It never got fixed, and I'm not doing that for another full season and giving up that hidden yardage time and time again. It was a problem.
And that was what they did. That was their solution, is they just gave up on the kickoffs too. They said halfway through the game, they started telling them just kick it through the end zone.
But with the kickoffs, here was the stunning thing for me all year. And I said this a couple of times, and you know, when you start to talk about kickers, it's really weird. But why did they? Stout kicked off the year before. They kicked in the end zone all the time. They never tried it.
They added 5 yards this year, right? Was that what they
But
did? They're going to
by
add
the way,
5 yards every year.
My Tyler Loop questioning it has every bit to do with the kickoffs for sure. It has nothing to do with the kick he missed at the end of the season. Like I'll be
Oh,
dead.
no.
Like
Nothing.
to do with
I
that.
agree with that.
Nothing. It
For the
has everything
record-
to it has everything to do
he's
with the
dead to me.
kickoffs. Okay, well that's fair, Griffin. That's a very reasonable take. Because he very well may be the kicker. Like I'm not even saying he might not be, but they need to bring someone in to see if he's going to be the kicker. And it has nothing to do with the kick at the end of the season. It had to do with the fact that every time he lined up for a kick, it was a kick that every NFL kicker should make. And that's why he made them all. Like, and that doesn't really prove to me that he's anything more than just a guy. And so I think he's a guy. And to me, that's all he has proven that he is. It's been one season, whatever. We'll see how it goes going forward, if that's the way they go. But I think they need to figure out if that is the way they're going.
And my argument is he's not even a guy because he couldn't make a 50-yard field goal. So what are we doing?
And I'm not going to argue with you about it. My only thing with the whole kickers thing is that, we give the Ravens some grace here because they've been so good at finding them, and they said this is the guy.
Yeah, and if I had to guess, they're gonna
never treated him like he was the guy. Like they never took him out of his comfort zone and said, let's see if he can make a 56-yard field goal right
until
here.
there's 2 seconds left in the season, right?
Yeah,
right. And if I had to guess, they're going to go into this next season with him. If I had to guess, for that exact reason, KZ, like they need to see progression,
right?
And if they see that, fine. Like I'm not saying a kicker can't progress and become better.
No,
I have seen nothing right now that makes me think that he's anything more than just a dude.
Sadly, I think you're right. But it's the NFL, and you can't afford to do that at the kicker position. Like you're finding guys off the street. 42-year-old Matt Prater is gonna.
But the question is, how many good kickers are there in the NFL though? Like
probably half the league. Yeah, like
it's 60. A little bit like the quarterback position in that respect. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's only so many guys where you really have that where you feel super super confident in. The Ravens had that for so many years, and then all of a sudden went from having it to not having it. Just like
I will take whoever the stud is out of the UFL this year. I will take him. That's who I want.
I mean, it's not an.
I don't know what his name. I don't know what his name's going to be, but that's who I want.
It's not like that guy has proven that he can come into the league and kick whoever he is.
I'll tell you what, he can at least come to training camp. That's for damn sure.
Well, that's the other thing. They've got. I do not want to see a BS competition like it was last year. There was no reason to make him the only kicker in camp for as long as they did in the preseason last year, and there was zero reason why at a certain point they didn't bring in somebody during the season to for some competition because and again, nothing to do with the last kick. He proved he couldn't do it from distance, and the team had no confidence in him from distance.
I feel kind of bad. I hijacked Luke's question about Jordan Stout and turned it into a conversation about Tyler.
I know.
That's fine.
Was unintentional, but Jordan Stout, like if they, like I said, if they find a special teamer that they like, they tend to keep on, paying them. So if they like Jordan Stout, that's fine. If last year was who he's going to be, say Levy, let's go. I'm on board. Keep him around.
Yeah. So are we going to be fooled by a guy in his contract year having the clear, far and away the best year of his career? You be wary of that? Maybe.
Do kickers have contract years really? Like punters? Like
it was a contract. Was it not a contract year?
I've never heard that with a punter. I mean, I know it was, but it's
I will say this for Stout and Loop that kickers and punters do develop over the course of a number of years like other football players do. We don't think of them as football players. We think of like a punter is going to be a finished product by the time he comes into the league because he's a punter, but they do get better. They do learn how to kick differently in the NFL. They do know, like in the stadiums are different. The ball flies different. Those kind of things do, it do take time.
Jordan Stout, fortunately for him, the Ravens were the best team in the NFL his first couple of years. So he was really not under the microscope all that much. So he had a lot of time to develop kind of behind the scenes a little bit. Tyler Loop's not going to get that luxury. Like, unfortunately, he just doesn't have that. Like, he's just not. Kicker's too important of a position. Like, they are under the microscope every time they kick the football, and especially when you're missing it, it gets noticed. So So yeah, I mean,
he did bookend the season with a couple of big misses. I will say that.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious to know whether you guys like. I know what you think you want to happen. Do you think the Ravens are actually going to have Tyler Loop as the kicker in Week 1?
I'm afraid so.
I think they really want him to be the guy, and I think they'll give him every opportunity to be the guy. I'm just saying, the kickoffs really bothered me this past year, and like I couldn't like even more so than the long misses. And I know that apparently that bothered Griffin. I know that bothered Glenn, but and the kickoffs just really bothered me. Like every kicker in the league by the end of the year figured out how to kick it down to the 1 and make the other team return it. And like and he would like kick it out of bounds, or he would have to just boot it through the end zone. And it killed him in the Pittsburgh game. Like because that defense was absolutely stiff at the end and needed all the help they could get.
And it messed with his mental in the Pittsburgh game, because he had the one that went out of bounds, and then they clearly told him that just boot it through the end zone, because the next kickoff, or the next one or two, I think there was only one other kickoff since then, but yeah, he just booted it through the end zone. So that was the last thing probably the coaching staff told him, and now they're telling him to go kick the game, send us to the postseason, and so of course he missed it. So of course he missed the field. Like it is a bad situation.
I'll just never understand, and I know the analytics. I don't understand why kickers just every time they'll kick it through the end zone. I just give them the ball at the 35 and let's go play defense.
They're going to start at the 40 this year, so I mean, yeah, they're going to force
they are. Did that
no, I mean they're just adding 5 yards every year, so why wouldn't they?
Okay.
I was going to say. I think they move backwards versus forwards before they move forward again. I do have one question for Andrew, and I know that we've kept Luke here for at least 30 minutes longer than he was going to be on here.
What am I doing?
I know. Bigger off-season move, Crosby or the polar bear?
Ooh.
See, that's a question. That's a KZ special right there.
Damn it!
I think the Ravens. Sorry,
are you all right?
Eka? Yeah.
Well, no. Let me just clarify. Are you asking about who makes the bigger impact, like immediately or long term? Or
I was thinking, like, what gave you the bigger wow?
What's the bigger? I mean, I think you can go impact, because I think that's tough as well. But yeah, like, which one blew you away more?
I think the Crosby one blew me away more just because of the shock factor of it. I was not that shocked that when the Orioles signed Pete Alonso, just because like I knew they were going to spend some money this offseason, and Pete Alonso seemed to be kind of a perfect and ideal fit. And I could probably say the same thing about this trade that the Ravens just made, but it's not a trade that they typically make. So the bigger impact in terms of like a wow factor and a shock factor for me, and maybe there's a little bit of recency bias in that it just happened, 90 minutes ago or whatever. But I think it's Crosby, just because the Ravens, this is not a move that they make. They don't give up two first round picks. Come on.
Yeah, that's a first in team history.
What are we doing? Like that's never, but at the same time, none of us are reacting in that way. None of us are going, what are they doing? How crazy. No, it makes sense, but it's still just the fact that they've never really done it.
Yeah, I'm being a victim of the moment as well, but I agree. I think it's the Ravens, and I think it's because we feel like they're in a Super Bowl window. Like with the Orioles, it could have been very easy for them to just not sign, not give that kind of money out, and be like, well, that's the Orioles. Of course, they're not doing that, and maybe I guess it's very similar to the Ravens. But yeah, and to Luke's point, we put up a list before you got here, Andrew. We put up a list. There's only been 15 players in NFL history that have been dealt for 2 first-round picks. Yeah. So it is a rarity to have this kind of thing happen.
And the Orioles thing, the ownership thing would explain all of that too. Like they're trying to put some money into this team, and they're trying to get the ball rolling in a way that previous ownership hadn't.
I think that's probably the big commonality here, is that I'm assuming that both ownership groups really push for both of those moves. I would think.
It's
I
crazy
I don't know how much you guys talked about Bisciotti, but this definitely feels like Bisciotti had
that's
a thumb on the
before you
scale.
came on. That's what we were talking about.
For sure.
This is a kind of big swing that they haven't taken in free team history, and typically that's an owner saying, "Take a swing,
I appreciate the parallels we're seeing between both teams. Like they're both coming off of an incredibly disappointing year, and I think both the Pete Alonso move and the Maxx Crosby move are kind of them admitting that. Like, wow, the 2025 Orioles should not have happened. The 2025 Ravens should not have happened. They should not have had that minimum playoff expectation, and then instead miss it altogether, go under 500. It's weird how much they mirror each other in this city, but it makes for definitely a compelling 2026 ahead of us.
Yeah, 100%. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Wind
up.
Well, thanks for joining us, Andrew.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
So that's Andrew Stecca, and tell us about what you normally do podcast. What are we doing?
I do. I mean, I do a podcast, but it's very specific. It's about the Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
There you go.
No one wants to listen to that.
They're having a down year, aren't they?
Because they're about to get relegated from the Premier League.
Are they going to get
relegated? Are they?
There's a damn good chance it happens.
There's a good chance.
They're battling with my leads, aren't they?
Yeah. In fact, we just put a new episode out. They lost yesterday. We just put a new episode. That's literally what I was doing when I didn't see the news about Maxx Crosby. I was finishing up recording that and posting it. So
is anyone going to the big soccer match downtown tomorrow?
I wish.
I am not.
I should have gone to UMBC today to see Messi practice. Yeah. That's what I should have done.
Ken, what are you doing? Anything with the draft?
It's funny. Glenn emailed me or texted me the other day. He's like, I need somebody at 9:00. What have you done on the draft? I'm like, nothing. I've done a little bit, but I will be ready when the draft comes. How's that?
And Griffin, how are the guests coming along for next week?
Oh my God. I just looked it up, and Tottenham's only 1 point clear of relegation.
I know.
That's
yes, I am. Thank you, sir. I am well aware.
That's unbelievable. Oof.
Yes, it's not great.
Yeah, we're hopefully got some things in the works. Nothing locked in right now, but hopefully we got some big yes. We had Cedric Mullins on this week.
He was good.
He was great.
That was good. I like that.
Yeah, he was great. We had Michael Pierce on this week. But yeah, just check me out doing alongside Glenn Clark. I'd say what our schedule is, but I guess it's more so, just whenever Glenn feels like it now.
Yeah.
That's what it appears to be.
But for however long you feel like it, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. We do not leave until I'm ready.
He's big time. He doesn't need any of us anymore.
He needed me. He texted me and asked me to call in, so
no, he gave me the same thing last week about the draft, and I had to say, Glenn, you know me, I could BS my way through it, but it's probably not going to go well.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably call you soon, KZ. Once when the guest thing is not going so well, and I may have to
after
go ahead and BS your way through the draft.
After next week, after this upcoming week, I'm then on spring break, so I have plenty of time if you want me to surprise Drew and come in.
Ooh, okay. All right, I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
That's always good. A good time.
Yeah. I'll text John Proctor, get him to set up a quiz. Maybe you're right. That's the show.
There you go.
All right. Okay. I'll stay on you.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, gentlemen.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest.